In this lesson, we're going to learn about speed in Filmora. So previously, before in the older versions, the only way that you could adjust the speeds was with uniform speed, which means that you could just apply a speed to the entire clip. But now we have something called speed ramping, which allows us to create keyframes to have different speeds throughout the video. So let's get straight into it. For this lesson, we have some car videos. They're in your resource pack, but you could also go to stock media and get your own. I do want to point out something. If you want to do some smooth slow motions, I highly recommend that you have a video that has a high FPS or frames per second. Usually the ones you get online are about 25 or maybe 30 frames per second, but once you slow that down, due to the low quality and the low FPS, you may get a little bit of a laggy result. So if you want to get something smooth, make sure your FPS is high, somewhere around 60, and your dimensions are large as well. So you could check your videos by right-clicking, going in properties, and here you can see that this particular video has a low resolution and the FPS is pretty normal. But if I were to slow this down to make some epic motions, it will not look that good. We will see how it looks throughout the lessons. But if you go in stock media and go to Pixabay and search for, I'll search actions. We do have the option to get really high dimension files. Let's see, you can just get any action you want. I think I'll go with this car. You can see how large that is. I'm just going to download it, and then we're going to take a look at the FPS. So I downloaded these two 4K clips, and once I checked the properties, they were just 30 frames per second. Could be because of the platform, even this one. But you can see the dimensions are pretty large. So you will at least get a high quality footage. But I did bring in another clip from my computer. I got this on Pixels. You can see it's by this person. Let's right click properties. You can see this guy is 50 frames per second, which is pretty high compared to the default 30 frames per second. So what this means is that when I slow it down to maybe, I'm taking 3 seconds and I slow it down to get 6 seconds, I will be getting more frames in those seconds and it will just look really smooth. It is rather hard to explain, but you will see soon in the lessons. If you want to get the best results from speed ramping, I highly recommend you get a video that has a high frame rate. Alright, let's get started with our video. Just got this on the internet. This is 30 frames per second, but you get to choose. I'm going to keep mine 25 frames just because I want the lesson to run smoothly. If you are working with a large file, you could just bring down the resolution here. This will not affect your finalized video. It's only for the preview. So if by bringing this down, you will get a smoother playback and just less lag while you're working with Filmora. Alright, so I'm just gonna, we have some music here. I'm gonna right click and just go to audio and mute this. You can also hit Control-Shift-M, Command-Shift-M, because I'm not trying to work with the audio. Once we slow it down, it's just gonna make no sense. So there are a couple of ways to get to the speed sliders. You can either right click, go to speed, and we have some nice options. This speed ramping is available in the latest version of Filmora, which is Filmora 11. If you're not seeing this, it could be because you're using an older version, so make sure you update your Filmora. So we have 4 options. You can also use this guy right here, and we have something called uniform speed, which is when, like we said, you apply one speed to the entire clip. 1 is the default number, it's the speed that the video currently has. But if I bring it to the left, I made it slower, and you can see it says slow. It has been slowed down by 0.48 times. let's render this clip and have a look at our slow car. So whenever you come to the left, it's becoming slower, as in when it's less than 1. 1 was the default. 1 is default. If you add to 1, you're speeding up your clip. If you remove from 1, you are slowing it down. So let's make this fast. You can see this guy just disappears. The duration of your video is also really important. You want to make sure there's enough footage for you to slow down or speed up. So make sure you take a look at your video's duration. Let's reset that. You get a duration limit here, as in it tells you the difference you made on the duration. So if we slow it down, instead of 7, we have 13 seconds. If I make it fast, I don't even have 1 full second of content. So take a look at this. We have reverse speed, which it just reverses the clip. So let's just turn that on. You can see we get these 2 backward things. And now the car is going backwards. Now you could turn this on and combine it with the speed here. So I'm going to make it slow and reverse. So we still have those 2 arrows. Play that back. It's slow, but it's also going backwards. So you can combine these 2 together. Let's go back here. All right, and below we have this check mark that says ripple. This has nothing to do with the speed. It just tells Filmora to remove the gaps that are created when you have multiple videos. So let's just add 1 video next to this. And let's say I speed up this clip, and when you speed something up, you are removing from the duration. So let's go in here. I will uncheck ripple edit and I'll just speed up my clip. So you can see there's a large gap, and after this I have to just click and drag this back here or select and hit backspace. Let's undo that. Hit Control Z, I'll bring this in again. Go back to uniform speed. I'm gonna make sure this is turned on. If I were to just select this clip, maybe add to it, you can see that the second clip just sticks to the end of my first clip, and I don't have to click and drag it after I'm finished. So you can just leave this on. If you want to add some other stuff in between, like another clip or an effect, then you can just leave it unchecked. And then we have something for tones, which is the audio that comes with the video. And you're just telling Filmora to maintain the audio pitch. When you speed up a clip, you are increasing the pitch. But if you're making it slow, you're lowering the pitch. So here you're just telling Filmora to maintain the original pitch of the audio. So let's have a look. I muted my clip, so let's just bring that back real quick to audio. Bring this back. So right now it's reversed, but this is what it sounds like. Okay. So that's what it sounds like, and we can just, let's have a look at what it sounds like. Let me just remove the reverse. Just gonna make this normal. Have a listen. So that was the pitch that we're working with. If I go ahead and just slow this down and turn this off, let's just do that again. Turn that off, lower the pitch. It's going to sound something like this. So it doesn't sound right. I'm going to try that again without the reverse. Let's get rid of that too. Bring this in again so it's not in reverse. And I'm just going to do what I just did. Turn off maintain audio pitch and just lower the thing. Let's have a listen. Sounds pretty weird, right? So same thing applies for if I were to just increase the thing. We don't have that much duration to begin with. Let's have a listen. So that was the sound. But if I were to let's reset everything, turn this on, maybe lower the speed, it's going to try its best to maintain the pitch. It will not be perfect. So if you are going to slow down something to the point where the audio is just really stretched out, you may want to add additional audio to your clip. That is where audio design comes in handy. But for now, we can just see how Filmora tries to maintain the tone and the pitch. So that sounds a lot more like a car than it did before. It sounded like a robot before we added this check mark. So it's really important. I'll play that back again without the maintain audio pitch. We were around 0.55, I believe. Let's play that back. So you can see the pitch changed when we turned off this option. So leave this on if you're going to keep the audio in your video, but usually you would just make it mute because it doesn't sound right. Alright, so that was the uniform speed. Before we jump into speed ramping, let's look at the other settings that we have. If we click our video, go here, we have some presets for predetermined numbers where you can just quickly slow down your clip by whichever number you want. Click it once and it slows it down. Have the same thing for fast. You can make it normal again by just one click. And we have reverse over here. We have something called freeze frame. With freeze frame, you are asking Filmora to basically take a photo of that exact frame. This is one frame right now. If I hit this, it's going to leave the video be normal, freeze that frame completely, and then go back to normal. Let's have a look. Let's play that back. It freezes. The video is still going. And it just comes back. So you can use freeze frame. You can change the duration by just clicking on that. By default, it's 5 seconds, but you can add or remove. Ripple edit is turned on. If you go on it again, you can delete it, or you can just get your cursor and select the line in between and just adjust the duration as you'd like. Okay, so that was the basic ways that you can edit the speed of your clip. What we learned in this lesson applies for Filmora 9, Filmora 10, and the older versions. And in the next lesson, we're going to take a look at speed ramping, which is a feature that was applied and released for Filmora 11. I'll see you guys in the next lesson where we will learn about speed ramping.